Hi, I'm Henry Acosta, and this is the Outsourcing and Offshoring Philippines podcast. Here are the stories of what makes companies successful in offshoring here in the Philippines. We talk to owners, employees, and influential people of the BPO industry. Our hosts consist of me, Wayne Buckler, and Patrick Reyes. Our first guest in this episode is Almira Absin of AZPIRED Incorporated, and it starts at the 1 minute mark of the podcast. Our second guest is Donald Felbaum of OPTEL, and it starts at the 14 minute and 35 second mark of the podcast. Our final guests are Malu, Borja, and Adrian Cabuhat of Prople Incorporated, and it starts at the 41 minute and 15 second mark of the podcast. Welcome to the Outsourcing and Offshoring in the Philippines podcast. I'm Henry Acosta, and today with us is Almira Absin of AZPIRED Incorporated. She is one of the co-founders of AZPIRED Inc. and is currently the Chief Operating Officer of the company. She moved from teaching in university and from the academic settings to more of a leadership role in the corporate world. She's been doing her work in the corporate world the last decade and has helped empower everyone around her. She believes that success is a combination of perspiration and inspiration through strict discipline, and also it goes with a real emphasis on the company's mission and vision. And with that, thank you for coming on with us today, Almira. We appreciate having you on the show.
It's my pleasure.
For our first question, can you give us a little bit more background about yourself and how you got started with AZPIRED?
Well, we started in U.S. in 2006. We had about 80 home-based agents. At that time, we realized it was best to bring the company in Philippines. After we have looked at so many cities and thorough research and visiting so many cities in Philippines, we decided that Cebu was the best place for us. There are so many factors why we chose Cebu. Traffic, there's the lesser traffic. Cost of living is cheaper for employees.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new city, and there's a nice blend of city life and the beach life, so it's easier for employees and the clients to unwind during the weekend if they want to go mountain climbing, or if they want to go to the beach, or if they want to go to the mall. So the city has everything that you need. Also the presence of international airports, which is easier for us and for our clients for coming in and going out of the country. And also for our employees, it's easier for them to go back to their province because Cebu is also the second city in the Philippines. So we started here in 2009 with one employee, and then it became 7, and then it became 75. And right now we're almost 9 years in the business, and we have grown to 1,500 employees. We
Wow.
also have expanded to 4 different buildings, 8 different operation floors, and 2 different cities. So we also have operations in Cagayan de Oro City and Cebu. So we just keep on expanding and growing and growing. So that's how we started. And now we just keep on growing.
That's very impressive. And what do you think is the main contributing factor on how you guys grew as a company, and what helped you guys take that leap from a small company to becoming a larger one?
It's really very simple. It's 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. You really have to work. They said it's luck, but luck is useless if you don't really work. It's very important to be hands-on with your own business, and at the same time working with people, working with the right people, and also making sure that every client is satisfied with what they want, and at the same time we always exceed the client's expectations. And also the quality of the employees that we have, Filipinos in general, is very good. So that's why the BPO industry in Philippines is growing.
And you guys started out in the U.S. What was it like Or what was it like for you guys to transition from the U.S. to the Philippines?
Well, actually for us, very easy and smooth. Number one, because I'm a Filipino, and the other 50% partner is my husband is an American. It's actually a good mix of me being a Filipino, knowing all the Philippine cultures and rules and regulations, and at the same time, my husband knowing all the rules in America, labor laws, I think everything, American culture, and in Philippines. Transitioning is actually really easy for us. First, I'm a Filipino, so I already know Philippine laws, Philippine labor laws, pretty much the laws of the Philippines. And at the same time, my husband is American. He also knows of course, the laws in the U.S. And at the same time, it's a good blend of culture. Philippines and America has a very, very close bond. A lot of us have families in the U.S., so for us, America is kind of like an extended family. So transitioning for us was just, we didn't really experience a lot of hurdles. It was a lot smoother for us. Thank God.
From a client's perspective, or a potential client's perspective, what do I have to expect when I work with AZPIRED Incorporated?
Well, with so many years in the business, it's not as big as the titans in the industry. In Philippines, we're actually already large. The best thing about AZPIRED is that we have the infrastructure that is really put in place, and then the training that we have, the system that we have, and at the same time, the culture that we have, from the hiring process to the training to the onboarding process to the operations to updates, refresher training. We just keep on working and working on improving on the quality. We understand that from time to time there will be hurdles because it will take probably a little bit longer for Filipinos to understand some businesses in the U.S. At the moment, our employees get the hang of what the account is, they actually perform really good. So most of the time, we always exceed our clients' expectations. In fact, in October last year, we went to Phoenix and received an award because one of our clients received the Best Operator of the Year in our transport account, and that's all over the U.S. So we're really, really very proud that we are the operations in the Philippines, and the winner of the Operator of the Year was actually based in New York. So that's really good for us.
Congratulations. That sounds awesome. And can you tell us about the mission and vision of your company?
Well, our mission is always to make sure that we make our clients' lives easier, and then they can focus on growing their business, and we do the operation. We always work with them. We don't consider them as clients. We consider them as partners. So us being away from them, although we are offshore, we are actually an extension of their office. So that's one of the things that really makes us probably unique, but not only unique in the sense that not other call centers are not doing that. I guess it's just the way, I think it really depends on how you treat your clients, and the client also wants to be answered in like a turnaround time for the email. We have deadlines to receive this email. How long do we have to answer this email, and fixing some issues. And it's good because we are a privately owned corporation. We can make changes fast. We're not publicly owned. It's easier for us to make changes and make it really fast. So that's one thing that really makes us successful.
I see. That sounds like a great philosophy. And with regards to that, what led you from being a teacher or being a professor into going, what made you transition from being a teacher or professor to going into the corporate world?
Well, it's not really actually a lot of transition. Technically, it's still very, very similar. When you're at school, you teach your kids how to understand some formulas. You teach them how to do this. You teach them how to pronounce this, or you teach them how to write this. In a call center world, it's pretty much the same. You start with the product training. You start with the culture and communications training. So we train the trainers. And then we have the culture training. And then the product training, giving them all the knowledge that they need, preparing them to be in the account and on the phone, or if, let's say, they are on the back end, if they're in the chat support. It's pretty much teaching and managing a call center. It's the same. We're still both teaching. I love the business that we have. I love the teaching part, I love the training part, and I love the challenge. They give us some challenges, and when we surpass and solve the problem, we kind of feel satisfied that, hey, we were able to fix this in this amount of time. We were able to achieve this, we were given awards. It's kind of like a validation that what you're doing is right. So it gives you, then it makes you become hungry for more challenges. And I think life is like that. When you have surpassed something, you kind of want more. It's not really about the money, but it's more of how you fix the problem.
I see. And for our last question, for anyone who's interested in reaching you guys, how can they find you guys? And can you tell us where your physical location is?
Well, we are located in Cebu IT Park. We are in Park Central building. We are on the 18th, 9th, 8th, and 7th floor, and we also have, in every building, we have recruitment. We also have facilities in Cebu Business Park, in Ayala. We are in Cebu IT Tower. Mm-hmm. And we also have facilities in Cagayan de Oro, in Lifestyle District, that's in One Providence building. We also have recruitment there. They can send their job applications to hotjobs at aspire.com. Mm-hmm. They can also find us in Facebook. That's good is that when they go to the website, they can see all the information. Mm-hmm. They can send emails, they can PM. We always have a turnaround time, so they can reach us. For our Globe, they can reach us at 0917-301-3626. That's for Mindanao applicants. And for Visayas applicants, they can reach us at 0917-311-3979. Or for Art and Fun, they can reach us at 998-860-1249.
And thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you. And that was Almira Absin, co-founder and chief operating officer of AZPIRED Incorporated. And thank you for coming on the show with us today, Almira. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And if you want to listen to this podcast, you can go on www.offshoring.com.ph, and you can find AZPIRED Incorporated at www.azpired.com, AZPIRED.com. You can also find this on SoundCloud and iTunes. I'm Henry Acosta, and thank you for listening to the Outsourcing and Offshoring in the Philippines podcast.
You're listening to Offshoring and Outsourcing Philippines. If you'd like to be heard by our listeners on this podcast, sponsorship opportunities are now available from as little as $150 or 7,500 pesos per episode. Get in touch with our sales staff at sales@offshoring.com.ph. That email address again, sales@offshoring.com.ph.
Hello, I'm the host, Henry Acosta, and welcome to the Outsourcing and Offshoring in the Philippines podcast. Today we have a great guest, Donald Felbaum. He's lived in the Philippines for over 20 years, and he is also the past president of the American Chamber of Commerce here in the Philippines. Currently, he's the managing director of OPTEL. OPTEL is an ICT advisory firm that started back in 1989, and its main goals are to support its clients in outsourcing, strategic planning, mergers and acquisitions, government interface, and advocacy assignments. Today, we're here to talk about his company, OPTEL, the landscape of the BPO industry here in the Philippines, and what's coming next for it. Hi, Don. Thanks for coming on the show. Great to have you here.
Good morning, Henry. Thank you for this opportunity to be with you this morning and share some information with your company and your listeners.
Thanks for coming on the show. And for our first question, can you please explain to us what the specific services that OPTEL provides and its clients?
Sure. OPTEL is an established ICT advisory firm. We specialize in the technology space. Specifically, our clients are telecoms companies, IT companies, BPO companies, and related IT-enabled services companies. So OPTEL takes a broad path in that regard, and sometimes we do other things as well. I have one client has asked me to help them introduce content to the Philippines for the mobile phones. So we're doing some unique work in that regard as well. But OPTEL takes the strategic sciences, as you had indicated. We always have a couple activities going on for M&As, for mergers and acquisitions. Sometimes we'll help companies with joint ventures, or they'll come to me and say, Don, we really don't know too much about the Philippines, but we realize we need to be here. Can you help us develop a entry strategy for our firm? And then I have other guys that are doing big scale projects, maybe ADB funded or overseas development assistance funding, we call ODAs. And these things take anywhere from 6 months to a year or more to bring to fruition. So we get involved in helping them with their business development efforts for these type of projects.
I see. And can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you started out here in the Philippines?
Sure. I'm an American. I discovered the Philippines many years ago. I came here in the 80s as a young guy and fell in love with the Philippines and worked for an American company at that time. And we had a regional office in Manila. So I covered all of the Asia Pacific. I was on an aircraft practically every week for 10 years. We covered from Australia, New Zealand in the south to Japan and Korea in the north and all the way to Pakistan and India in the west. So it was really a great opportunity for me to build relationships, make friends, help the company grow its business out here. So it was really a good time. And of course, during that time, like most young guys that come out as a young bachelor, I met this beautiful Filipina who caught my attention, and I did the formal courtship. I ended up marrying this Pinay, and a couple of my kids were all born and raised in Manila, and in 1989 we decided to start OPTEL. OPTEL initially was formulated to pursue in the 90s the telecom deregulation. It was a really a good time. The country was spending up to $1 billion a year, and under President Ramos's leadership, he opened up the telecom sector, and many of the foreign companies came in, and I was part of that. I brought in a couple big guys, including Verizon and Nextel, made more than $100 million investments in those days. So it was really a good time, and I'm glad that I could be a part of that. So that's a little bit about OPTEL, and then I guess in the Asia crisis happened in the late 90s, and so the money all dried up, and I decided we would have to find some new sector focus, and BPO was just starting, Henry, at that time. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to start wooing some American companies to come over to invest in the Philippines. As a matter of fact, my first engagement, I think, was 2001. I was commissioned by an American BPO to do a study to convince the Americans that the Filipinos could speak good English. And everybody laughs about that because right now we have 1.2 million full-time employees. But back then, when we were just starting, there was an issue. So I did a great study the company was able to get its first major contract offshoring. They set up here, and the rest was history. A lot of companies followed thereafter. So for the last 15 years, we ran very hard helping grow the BPO sector in the Philippines. And of course, the Americans played a key role in that. I think 65% of all companies in the BPO sector today have their headquarters in the United States. So I had the good fortune in the 90s with the telecoms, of course, in the last run with the BPO sector from I think we really took off about 2004, 2005, and we've run hard for the last 10 plus years.
And why do you think the Philippines has been so successful with regards to the BPO industry?
Well, I guess we could, break that down to a couple key items. First of all, we have an outstanding labor pool. Each year the Philippines graduates approximately 500,000 students from all the colleges. So there's a young, highly educated, English-speaking workforce that easily relates to Western practices. The millennials today have an opportunity to get involved and work on some unique projects and services. The American companies promote them. They adapt easily to the Western management style. And so I think that's one of the key items that attract American companies to the Philippines. The second one is, of course, is PEZA, the Philippine Export Zone Authority, has created a nice environment to attract American companies to set up their BPOs here. Why is that, you might ask? Well, they provide tax incentives. They have facilities that they designate as designed for BPO companies that are up to international standards. And PEZA does a great job in managing those companies, providing support, helping the foreigners get their visas in a timely fashion, and ensuring that if they have any problems, they can get very fast resolution. So I think that's another key point that has really made the Philippines very, very successful here. So today the market continues to grow in the BPO sector. There's a lot of talk that under the new President Trump administration there could be some curtailing. I think in the longer term there could be a small damper, but on the longer term I really believe that President Trump is looking more at the manufacturing sector than the BPO sector. And I talked to a number of contact centers here and say, Don, even if we wanted to put up new centers in the States, we can't staff them with enough local Americans. So I think the Philippines in this regard will be safe for some times to come.
And since you've been so experienced with the industry here, what do you see, or what do you think is going to happen to the BPO sector in the near future here in the Philippines?
Good question, Henry. I think we have mastered the voice, and I think the voice business will continue for some years. But let's face it, that's not where the optimum profits are earned. So I think the third-party outsourcers in particular realize that they want to move up the value chain, as we say, and they want to enter the KPOs, which would be knowledge process outsourcing. This would be doing medical services or legal services, animation, those kind of higher knowledge services where it takes a greater skill set to enter those sectors. And I believe that a number of the major guys that are here today that are playing in the BPO sector are moving, and they have strategic plans to move upscale. So over time, the voice stuff will go down, probably never go away, but it will go down, and the KPO services will become more predominant. That on top of that, there's a lot of buzz in the community about automation. So a couple of companies that I work for are already doing experimentation, doing pilot programs for automation. They're also introducing KPO services now, and so that means that they need a new skill set, which they're cultivating. Future transactions, I think, will be more automated. We'll be using artificial intelligence. We'll have liquid teams. and we'll focus on new sectors that are very exciting now, like the healthcare and wellness, animation, which really have opportunities for innovation where the Philippines can really excel.
And you guys are in the ICT, mostly in the ICT sector, and you guys are just an advisory firm. What are the major happenings for 2017 with regards to the ICT industry?
You know, this is a nice question because just recently I was invited by the Department of ICT, by the way, which I had a very active role in over the years. In 2000, I think it was 2003, we met with President Gloria, AMCHAM did, and we are able to convince her that at that time that the BPO sector was going to take off in a big way, and we asked her to help us push for the creation of a new law and a new department called Department of ICT. Well, she told me at that time at AMCHAM that that's not going to happen. It was not a priority in those days. But what she did commit to AMCHAM, and she kept her promise, was to create an executive order creating the first Commission on ICT, which was the forerunner of the Department of ICT. So since that time, AMCHAM has worked very closely with American sector companies, and we were welcomed by the Philippine Congress to come in and give our comments and support. And so we believe that we had a little bit of help in shaping and crafting the new laws that just got passed last year, and we're very, very happy that happened in the very last days of President Aquino. So now, with the new administration and my recent dealings with the ICT, they have a two-pronged approach that they're moving forward with very quickly. One is the creation of the National Broadband Network. And as you know, Henry, there are many parts of the country that have limited or no services for internet. And so the National Broadband's goal is to identify those areas and come up with solutions to address that. So that's one of the exciting things that's happening. So we could have affordable broadband nationwide, maybe not in all 7,100 islands, but definitely all the major capitals and secondary cities in the country. So that is underway. And the second thing that is happening at the ICT is that they have crafted a cybersecurity program, which is in the early days of formation. And with BPO and ICT, cybersecurity is very, very important to all the foreign companies as well as the Filipino companies. And they're crafting a strategic plan, working very closely with the private sector to make sure that our intellectual property and assets have the right security to protect the different industries. So that's ongoing as well. So I hope that by the second half of the year, the department will be more advanced and maybe even have some of its early phase programs to start to take shape and form. So we're very excited about what's happening in the ICT sector this year.
With regards to the American Chamber of Commerce, can you tell us how you got started with AMCHAM and the role that you played in it?
Thank you, Henry. AMCHAM is very close to me. I joined, I guess, around the mid-90s. So I've been with AMCHAM more than 25 years. And somewhere in the early years, they asked me to step in and see if we could upgrade our ICT committee. And I happily accepted that opportunity and have been with the ICT committee, I guess, easily, 20, 22 years. We meet monthly. We have top speakers. As a matter of fact, in my March committee meeting, we had Undersecretary Rio and Undersecretary Villarente from the Department of ICT talking about the National Broadband Plan and the Cybersecurity Plan. So each month we bring in top speakers at the American Chamber offices, and we permit all of our members and even some non-members to come and join us and to have a dialogue and learn, listen, and find out what's happening in various sectors. So that's one part of it. I also head up the Healthcare and Wellness Committee. I think I've been doing that, Henry, about 7 years now. So last month we had Makati Medical talk about care of our key organs like our liver and our kidneys, and It was a very informative discussion. I think we had about maybe 50 people attending, and each month we try to do something along those lines at the American Chamber. We have 17 committees. We have 750 paying members. Half of those are American multinationals. We're very active. Last year we had 220 events in AMCHAM. That's almost one per day. I don't think there's anybody in the country could come close to the amount of work that the American Chamber puts out in a given year. We have 17 committees. All the committee chairs are very active, always have something going on, trying to serve our members and support the country in various growth areas. So we have a very dynamic board. On our board of directors, we have industry captains from manufacturing, from energy, from banking. All the key sectors are represented from BPO, and it's great. We meet once a month. Mm-hmm. On one side of the table is our industry captains. On the other side of the table is the U.S. Embassy, where we have an exceptional working relationship. We work hand in hand with the U.S. Embassy. And of course, our honorary chairman is always the current ambassador. In this case, it's Ambassador Sun Kim. And they're always very supportive. Private sector and government working close together, helping each other, and trying to encourage more foreign investment, job creation here in the Philippines. So AMCHAM is really a dynamic organization, and I welcome you, Henry, one time or more to come and join me. We have socials almost every month. If you like something more specific, you're always welcome to come and join me at my 2 monthly committee meetings.
Oh, well, that sounds awesome, and thanks for the offer. And can you tell us a little bit more about your role with the Asia CEO Awards event?
Since vertical integrated markets really likes to promote the Philippines and the business activities, it's very similar to the Asia CEO Awards. In this particular case, it's a yearly event. It's the biggest, most dynamic, most exciting events of the year. We have it usually late October, November. I was the advisor to the founders of that organization, Richard and Rebecca Mills, and their whole purpose of that was to showcase the very best that the Philippines has to offer. This could be companies, it could be people, could be a combination of both. They have about, I think, 10 categories that are given awards, and then there's 2 lifetime achievement awards that are given, and we try to pick the very best in that particular case. Last year we had, from the public sector, we had Secretary Del Rosario, who did an outstanding job for the Philippine government, and his service over the years, including his ambassadorship in the U.S., was really extraordinary. So each year we try to find a couple of very worthy people. There's many, unfortunately, and we're only allowed to choose 2, one from each sector. Mm-hmm. And we give out the 10 category awards. We have usually a couple hundred people that apply. I think we had over 250 companies apply last year. And during the awards night, we have all the shortlisted people. They come on stage, they receive special recognition. Of course, one of those for each category is given a very prestigious award, a good media coverage, and we really try to showcase the best of the Philippines has to offer. And it's been a success. I think last year we had 1,000 plus members. It was a who's who in the business community there, and really a fun evening, great entertainment, outstanding food. And of course, it gives special recognition for the Philippines and all the great things that happen here each and every year.
And can you tell us how you can help the companies here in the Philippines?
So I wear, as you know, Henry, many different hats. That's my life. I sit on a dozen different board of directors or advisory boards, and so I wear a lot of different hats. One day I'm working the AMCHAM hat, the next day I'm working for PAMORI, which is an association for Filipino multinational companies with their regional offices or regional operating headquarters. Another day I'm working I've got the Asia CEO hat on. So I really try to help people and at the same time make friends and help promote the country, try to help with job creations, have inclusive growth for the country, which I think is very important. And I think we're moving all in the right direction. I think the President administration is very supportive of business, especially the foreign community under the Joint Foreign Chambers. And I think we really have an excellent opportunity to help right across all boards. So, and that includes my own company. We're a boutique ICT advisory firm. So if someone is listening, say, hey, I need some help, Don, we need to get some information, or we need to get set up in the Philippines, please come talk to me. And even if I can't help you directly, I assure you I'll put you in the right hands with the right people who can help you and make you successful in your new business endeavors.
With regards to this, we did a little bit of research, or a little bit more background on OPTEL. And can you tell us about your involvement with the JFC?
The JFC is also very unique. I've talked to many businessmen over the years, and they said, Don, we've never seen anything quite like the Joint Foreign Chambers. The Joint Foreign Chambers was fabricated, I think, in the 90s, and it comprises of seven very active chambers. Of course, AMCHAM is sort of the godfather. We've been around since 1902, so we're sort of the ninong of the Joint Foreign Chambers, and we have our Canadian cousins from CanCham are there. European Chamber has a big active community. We have AMCHAM, which is the Australia-New Zealand Chamber of Commerce. They have about 10% of all BPO companies now in the Philippines, so they're growing every day, every week. And then we have PAMORI, which is also was established in the early 80s. I've been associated with them a long time. We sort of shepherd the companies for the regional operating headquarters, which are mainly shared services companies. And then we also have another classification called regional headquarters, RHQs, where you're setting up maybe a regional sales office to service not only the Philippines, but other countries in Asia. And then we go to the Asia side, which we have the Japanese Chamber. I think they're one of the largest chambers. I think they have over 1,000 members. And then, of course, the dynamic, growing Korean Chamber. The Korean Chamber was telling me they have approximately 150,000 Korean people living and working in the Philippines today. Wow. The Americans, we're still the champions. We're approaching, I think, 450,000 Americans living and working in the Philippines. So we work together for common goals. We meet once a month. We talk about advocacy undertakings, and we really work to help each other, support each other, and all for the purpose of providing a good venue, a good entry point for companies that want to come over here and set up, whether they're in manufacturing, BPO, or a service organization. We help them all. So that's really the goal of the Joint Foreign Chambers, and I think we really try to do good work. I think when we did some analysis a few years back, we found out that Joint Foreign Chambers accounts for approximately 40% of all foreign investment, these 7 chambers in the country today, which is very significant.
I see. And for our last question, for anyone interested in reaching out to OPTEL or to you, how can they reach you, and what's the best way to get to know you more?
Sure. Thank you very much for that opportunity, Henry. OPTEL can easily be found on the website. We're www.optel.info. My personal email is very easy to remember. It's my first name, Don, at OPTEL, my company.info. Very easy to remember, and I'm very active in the business community. Being here a long time, people know how to find me. Can find me actively in the chamber, or PAMORI, or the JFC. Many different ways to track me down, or just ask one of your foreign friends how they can reach me. I've been here for a long time, and so my network is quite large, and just about everybody that's been here for a few years I met somewhere along the way.
Awesome. And thanks for getting on the show, Don. We appreciate it.
It's a great pleasure to be with you, Henry. Thank you for being patient with me. We've been quite busy the last 2 months, but I really wanted to join you in this session, and I really enjoyed sharing with you some of our experiences and our history here in the Philippines.
We appreciate that and hope to have you back on the show soon.
Thank you, Henry, and we wish you and your colleagues a good day. Thank you very much.
Awesome. And that was Donald Felbaum, Managing Director of OPTEL. We just finished talking about the BPO industry and the current situation of business here in the Philippines. If you've liked the podcast and want to listen to it more, you can find us on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can also reach us at www.offshoring.com.ph. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Google+. I'm Henry Acosta, and this is the Outsourcing and Offshoring in the Philippines podcast.
You're listening to Offshoring and Outsourcing Philippines. If you'd like to be heard by our listeners on this podcast, sponsorship opportunities are now available from as little as $150 or 7,500 pesos per episode. Get in touch with our sales staff at sales@offshoring.com.ph. That email address again, sales@offshoring.com.ph.
Hi, I'm Henry Acosta, and welcome to the Outsourcing and Offshoring in the Philippines podcast. We have two guests today with us. We have Malu Borja and Adrian Stephen Cabuhat of Prople Incorporated. Malu is a graduate of De La Salle University and is a CPA. She's been through a lot of work, mainly focusing on operations, technology, and business processing. She's currently the president of Prople Incorporated. And with her today is Adrian. He's a graduate of the University of the Philippines, and he's currently the manager of their business development group. Today we're here to talk about Prople Incorporated and what we can expect from them as a company if ever you want to work with them. So welcome on board, Malu and Adrian. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Henry.
Hi, Henry.
Good morning. Is it good morning there?
Yeah, it's morning here. And good morning to you guys, and good evening to you, Malu. So, where are you right now in the States?
I'm in LA.
Oh, LA.
We have an office here in Woodland Hills in LA.
Sounds awesome. Adrian and Malu, can you give us more background on who you guys are and how you guys got started with Prople Incorporated?
Okay. I'm happy to tell you that Prople has actually been in existence for the past 20 years. And we are rooted on our key competencies, which is being proactive, being industry specific, and being current as far as technology is concerned. We started in 1996, and it was founded as Motivation Asia. That's the first name of Prople until it became Prople as it is in 2006. It was relaunched as Prople, and we had established finance and accounting services as well as HR and payroll. So we have been serving the market in these areas, and some other services like knowledge process services, and eventually since 2006 it has evolved to bring in some developed technology support to enable us to do the outsourcing in a more efficient and productive way.
Do you want to add anything to that, Adrian?
Yes, I would like to highlight as well our technology, because we have a Prople in homegrown system, and it is actually powered by technology tools that enhance efficiency. So it's called BATS. It's the abbreviation of that is payroll, timekeeping, and HR system. So we actually have applications that will actually suit the Philippine HR and finance and accounting people. So it's specifically designed for the Philippines. So under that, we actually have this what we call peers. So it's Prople employee expense reimbursement system. So you can actually file reimbursement, cash advances, and liquidate cash advances anywhere. So it is a system that is web-based. So you can actually access it using your mobile phone, as long as you have internet. So it is something that you don't need. It's no longer need for us to install from our clients' end, since they can actually access it anywhere. So we also have PIMS. It's People Information Management System. So it's a data integration and management workflow and document repository that will enable integration of ERP systems and perform data mining activities and analysis. So we have actually got a couple of more in line, which is Places, Ports, and Prism. So we would like to actually make a processing of leasing accounts and collections of electronic services for those who actually have malls. So just imagine you will have an automatic access for different kiosks. For example, you will know by one click who are paying, who will transfer from one store to another with just the use of our system. And we also have this what we call ports, people ordering and receivables transaction system. So it's a real-time monitoring of order and sales through a proactive business decision. So this is being used by supermarkets as well. All right, here in the Philippines. And we also have this what we call Prism, Prople Project and Issue Management System. So it's an accurate recording of tracking of issues and work progress from anywhere. So most of the companies or our clients use this for their IT ticketing. So for example, they want to install a software in their computer, they can just simply file a request using this what we call Prism. So they can actually track as well which request has been granted and which are still pending. So we want to make sure that we actually make the life of our employees easier by accessing also their information online. So that's what we are proud about with Prople.
Wow, that sounds really impressive. And how did you guys come up with the idea of making all those systems?
Well, I guess it's 20 years of continuous improvement. I think that's also what I wanted to highlight earlier. All of the different applications that Adrian just mentioned are